Have you ever believed in eternal love? When you meet someone from your past after many years, would you choose forgiveness or revenge? When one person chooses to leave to pursue a dream, while the one left behind is broken and shattered, do they deserve a happy ending? Join me as we step into a story full of tears, betrayal, and deadly secrets. In a small forest-edge town in Oregon, where endless rows of pine trees reach into the gray sky of winter and the cold wind always evokes memories of the past, lived a woman named Lena Thompson. She was an elementary school teacher, living simply and discreetly. At 32, Lena still carried a gentle beauty like the autumn season itself, sweet but weighed down by worries. Every morning, she rode her old bicycle to school, her black hair tied neatly, always smiling at her students, yet her eyes never truly lit up. The townspeople said Lena lived like a shadow, always locked away in the small garden behind the house her mother left her, reading books, tending flowers, and teaching. No one ever heard her laugh loudly. No one ever heard her talk about any man. But everyone knew Lena had loved and had been left behind after a promise that was never kept. 10 years ago, Lena loved Jake Hamilton, the boy considered every girl's dream at their high school. Jake was handsome, funny, with amber eyes and a camera always hanging around his neck. He dreamed of becoming a professional photographer, capturing the world's beauty in the most vivid images. Lena, the serious class president, excellent student, gentle and always quietly supporting him at every school photo exhibition. They were the perfect couple. They loved each other in gentle sunny days, under golden canopies of autumn leaves. Lena believed Jake was her destiny. But that destiny did not stay. Jake received a full scholarship to a prestigious art school in New York. Lena, however, only got rejection letters from everywhere, haunted by the news that her mother, the only woman left in her life, had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. She could not leave Oregon, and Jake was determined not to give up his dream. "I'll come back, I promise," Jake said on their last night together. Under the cold early autumn rain, they hugged one last time by the lake, where they had their first date. That kiss was soaked with rain and tears. Lena said nothing. She only nodded, trusting that love could overcome time and distance. But then, Jake never came back. 2 months later, her mother passed away. Lena called Jake, but his number had changed. She wrote letters, emails, no reply. After a year, she accepted the truth. The one who once vowed to return had chosen to disappear forever. 10 years later, life moved on like steady cycles. Lena taught, lived quietly, and closed off. Every autumn, she returned to the lakeside, where the stone bench they once carved their names still stood, to sit silently amidst the scent of fallen leaves and cold wind. The old traces remained, although moss had blurred Jake's name. Snow fell incessantly for days in the small mountain town of Oregon. White rooftops, drooping old pines, and dim streetlights like they were lost in a dreamlike winter sleep with no sign of awakening. Lena sat silently by the classroom window, her eyes tracking each snowflake falling, her heart hollow. She had just received official news. Jake Hamilton, the man who once made her heart beat through her youth, had returned to the town. No warning, no message, just his name appearing through the innocent story of Mia, a child in her class, who was also his daughter. Life sometimes doesn't need a clear reason to crush someone's heart. It only needs a moment, like when Lena saw Jake holding another woman's hand at the Christmas market, while Mia ran happily in front of them, laughing purely as if she never knew what heartbreak was. That night, Jake came to Lena's house. He stood under the porch, soaked with snow, silently waiting, as if hoping the door would open. When Lena stepped out, they looked at each other, like two survivors after war, exhausted but without words. "You've changed," Lena whispered. Jake didn't reply. A gust of wind whipped his scarf lightly. He reached out and trembled as he touched her hand. "I don't know what happened. Lena, you have to believe me." "Believe? Believe what? That you left without a word for 10 years? That you left me to face my mother's death alone? Or believe that you already have a daughter and still came back to find me, as if I were a beautiful memory you wanted to touch again?" Lena's voice wasn't loud, but each word stabbed through Jake's chest. He gasped and stepped back. "Emily told me you had someone else, that you didn't want me to contact you anymore. I foolishly believed her. I waited for you for 2 years, Lena. Then I thought I had to move on. You once asked, what if I needed you? But when I needed you the most, you were no longer there. Silence engulfed them. Only the clock in the living room ticked, marking the distance between two broken hearts. Jake left, leaving Lena in tears. But everything was only beginning. A few days later, Emily came to the school looking for Lena. Unlike her gentle public image, she appeared with eyes sharp as knives and a cold smile. I know what you're thinking, Lena, but Jake is mine. The child is his. Our family is about to be peaceful. Don't ruin it. Lena smiled lightly. I don't want to ruin anything. You're the one who's destroying. Emily clenched her teeth. Jake won't believe you. I was with him through the worst years. I endured to raise his daughter. I accepted a loveless life just to keep him. So you know he doesn't love you. The words were like daggers. Emily flinched. Her eyes flashed with panic. He loves me. It's just he's haunted by memories of you for too long. I fought for years to win a man who didn't belong to me, and now I won't let anyone, not even you, take away the only thing I have. Lena was silent, looking deeply into Emily's eyes. You have a fake family built on lies, but I have a real past, and I don't need to fight to keep it. The truth began to crack from Jake's own heart. One morning, he went to the hospital for a DNA test because a detail made him suspicious. Mia's blood type didn't match his. And then the result came back, no biological relation. Jake collapsed right there. Everything spun around. He couldn't believe it. He had lived a life full of responsibility, but with a lie for 5 years. That night, he returned home facing Emily, who was sitting reading a fairy tale to Mia. The little girl smiled brightly, unaware of the storm about to come. She's not your child, right? Jake asked. Emily froze, the book dropping from her hands. Jake, you deceived me. Why? Why did you do that? Emily cried, kneeling on the floor. Because I love you. I couldn't let you go back to her. I'm afraid of losing you. I have no one else. Jake stood silently. In that moment, all emotions within him went numb. He left in the snowy night, walked to Lena's wooden house, and knocked 3 times. When the door opened, he said nothing, just looked at her, eyes red and lost. I want to start over. I'm sorry. Everything? It's all my fault. Lena looked at him, her voice tired. Are you sure you know the whole truth? Jake choked, because some truths hurt more than lies. Then Lena handed him an old letter, the paper yellowed by time. This is the letter I wrote to you when my mother died, but it was returned because the recipient no longer lives at this address. You said you never changed your number. But why did no one answer when I called? Why were all my letters returned? Jake read the letter, each trembling word written about despair, his mother's death, the feeling of abandonment. He buried his head on her shoulder, sobbing like a child. Meanwhile, Emily fell into a collapse. She left home, missing for 3 days. Police found her by the lakeside, where Jake once pretended to propose, unconscious from an overdose. She was saved, but mentally shattered. In the following days, Lena wandered like a lost soul in an emotional maze. Jake tried everything to prove his feelings. He picked her up from school, sent flowers, even held a photo exhibition just for her, where the first picture he took of her at 17 hung at the center. But Lena's heart was no longer the same. Ethan, the man who had been by her side for 5 years, began to notice the change. One night, he sat beside her, eyes gentle. Lena, I know Jake coming back confuses you, but tell me, do you still love him? She didn't answer immediately, just poured more wine, staring out the window where snow fell softly. I once thought if Jake came back, I would forgive. But now, I'm not sure. I don't want to hurt you, Ethan. Ethan held her hand. I'm ready to let go if that's what makes you happy. Lena burst into tears. A week later, Jake called her out to Echo Lake. He knelt down, pulling a ring from his pocket. Lena Thompson, I love you. 10 years ago, I lost you because I trusted the wrong person. Now I ask for a chance to make it right. Lena was speechless. But before she could answer, Emily appeared. Her eyes red, holding medical records. Jake, Mia has leukemia. She needs a bone marrow transplant. And you're not the biological father, but the only match in the database. The world collapsed. Jake froze. Lena was silent. Emily cried, Please, Jake, you are her father in her heart anyway. Save her, then go wherever you want. Jake withdrew his hand from the ring. He looked at Lena, pained, then hugged Emily. I'll take the tests. I'll save Mia. Lena turned away, tears streaming down. For the second time, she lost him. 1 month later, Mia's transplant was successful. Jake stayed by her side the whole time. Emily sent Lena a handwritten apology. I was wrong, selfish, and stole precious years from you. If I could do it again, I wish you happiness. Lena quietly read the letter. In her hands was a wedding card with Ethan's name, her decision made. The wedding took place on a rainy day. Jake did not come. But after the ceremony, Lena left the church and saw a photo placed on a stone bench. It was her at 17, smiling brightly under the sun, taken by Jake himself. Behind the photo was a handwritten line. If there is another life, I hope I find you first. Lena hugged the photo, crying. Then Ethan came, draped his jacket over her, and they walked away in the rain, together, steady. Some loves cannot return because they came at the wrong time. But there are also those willing to love you even when you're left only with wounds. Love is not always choosing the one you love the most, but choosing the one who never leaves, even when you have nothing left. 3 months after the wedding, spring came earlier than usual. On the pine hill west of the town, wildflowers bloomed, birds sang the rhythm of new life. Lena stood on the balcony of the new small house she bought with Ethan. A place she once dreamed would have a garden, a few books, gentle music, and a man patient enough to listen to her recount the smallest things of the day. Ethan was that kind of man. Not loud, not rushed. He quietly made tea every morning, leaving a small note with a sweet wish beside breakfast. He never asked if she still remembered Jake. He knew some memories no one can replace. And true love is not possession, but accepting the other even in things yet to forget. One evening, Lena opened an old wooden box, holding all teenage memories. Letters she wrote to Jake but never sent. An old movie ticket, the scarf he once wrapped around her on the farewell night. She reread each line as if talking to her 10 years ago self. Jake, if you read this, it means I still haven't stopped hoping. Every day, I look out to the lake, waiting for someone to return. But the more I wait, the more foolish I feel. I just want you to know, I once loved you very much. And if you don't come back, then live well, because I loved someone worthy. Lena smiled, tears rolling down. A week later, she received a package from New York. It was Jake's photo book, his latest work, nominated for an International Photography Award. The first page bore a dedication to Lena Thompson, the girl who taught me that sometimes to love someone, you need a lifetime to learn how to let go. Along with the book was a handwritten letter. The familiar handwriting seemed to recall a shattered youth. Lena, thank you for not hating me, and thank you for not forgiving me, because I understand, not all mistakes can be undone. You chose happiness, and I'm glad for that. Emily took Mia to Canada to live with her maternal grandparents. I still keep in touch, still send photos, write letters to her every week. Can you believe it? Mia now likes to draw and says she wants to be a storyteller with a camera like her dad. I don't know if I'm worthy to be a dad, but I know at least I can still love someone truly. I still take photos, still wander through cities without you, still live, but never forget where I became myself. Echo Lake, an autumn night in the rain. There was a girl who promised to wait. If I could go back, I hoped that day it wouldn't rain, so I could kiss you once more without mixing rain with tears. Goodbye. I wish you peace. And if there is a next life, I hope we won't miss each other again. Lena folded the letter, placed it on her chest. A tear slid gently, no longer bitter as before. Summer came. Lena became pregnant with her first child. Ethan named the baby Hope, meaning hope, because to him, Lena was a woman who stepped out of a broken story, but still had enough love to start over. One sunset afternoon, she sat on a swing in the garden, her hand on her belly. The baby gently kicked, as if trying to say something. Lena whispered, "My child, I once loved someone so much I thought I couldn't live without him. But then I learned that true love is not holding someone forever." I learned to smile when watching them leave, because I knew they once meant the whole world to me. She looked up at the sky. A sky without clouds, but with gentle sunlight, like a heart that has just let go of something too heavy. We all once had someone we couldn't forget, a promise unfulfilled, a memory that smolders like a scar in the heart. But life never gives anyone a perfect second chance. If missed, even if returned, that person is no longer the same, and we are no longer who we were in those years. Happiness sometimes doesn't come when we need it. It comes when we have the courage to let go, the maturity to understand that loving each other doesn't always mean staying together, and that the greatest love is not about holding someone to stay, but silently wishing them peace, even if they are no longer by your side. You have just heard the story, Happiness Only Comes Late, a 10-year journey of love, with all the tears, regrets, and finally forgiveness. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every subscription and interaction from you will be the motivation for me to continue sharing many more touching stories, lessons about love and life. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss new videos. See you in the next stories. And remember, if you're not happy today, don't worry. Maybe happiness only comes late.